Jared, can you hear us?
Can you hear me?
Yep, we can
Are we
hear
good
you.
now?
Yeah,
We can
live.
slightly hear
Awesome.
you. Yeah, you better talk up, son. Let's hear it.
Perfect. Yeah, no worries. I appreciate you guys having me on this episode. I mean, I think a lot of what you guys were just saying is what I'll echo. I mean, I think what the catcher is doing as Cal Raleigh, I think we'll never see again, or at least it'll be a long time considering what he is doing right now. 47 home runs, 102 RBIs. He's one off of the record, and we're halfway through August. He's pretty much single-handedly carried the team into the position that they are. I think 2 games back now in the division, giving us a chance to beat the Astros. I mean, we got 3 games left against them. I think pretty much his only main hurdle right now to winning it is going to be winning that division. I don't think that there's any argument that what Judge is doing or what he has been doing is utterly spectacular. But, with many sports, I think that there's some voter fatigue there. Judge is doing everything that he can, but Cal Raleigh's kind of taking the league by storm. The big dumper name, winning the home run derby, all of this playing the toughest position, managing one of the best pitching staffs. I mean, is nothing short of incredible. And I think if he can get close to that 62 mark, tying, what was it, is it Lou Gehrig? And then Judge had that record recently. I think if he can get 60, I don't know how you can't give it to him when he's catching and playing one of the best defensive catchers we've ever seen. So I don't know. I would love to, hear maybe where your guys' opinions are. But I mean, I'm glad I'm on this podcast because it sounds like Cal Raleigh's got 2 more fans than I already have.
Yeah, I mean, I think the defense is a big part of it, right? Like being an elite defensive catcher is like no small deal at all. And for him to be producing as both a catcher and producing as a hitter, like you said, the defensive stuff is huge. It's what makes, if you're a complete player like that and you're putting up MVP numbers, like I think that is a huge reason why, you got to have both things to it and you got to be complete. And there is no better really defensive catcher in baseball than Big Dumper. And you add in the hitting stuff. Like I'm struggling to go with Judge on this one, to be honest. As much as Judge has got him, like I said, in WAR, a little bit higher. He's got more hits. The batting average, he is just smoking Cal on. Like it's almost 100 points higher. The OBP, the slugging, the OPS. I mean, if you really break it down to even the granular level, like Raleigh's got him on something, but the weighted on base percentage, weighted on base average, you give it to Judge. Weighted runs created, you give it to Judge. Fielding run value, though, you start getting into Cal. Base running value, Cal. Wins above replacement, like I said, back to Judge. So I think it's going to be close. Jared, you too. I mean, he's got anything else you want to add to that one?
And that's why I say, Jared.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead, Jared. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. I mean, I was just going to say, he's caught 95 games already this year. I think they played around 125. So you're saying that he's only missed 3 to 4 games total this year? I mean, Judge was just on the IL. He probably missed 7 to 9 games in that stretch. Obviously not too many, but I mean, you're talking Cal Raleigh is playing the toughest position, managing one of the best staffs in the league. He's gotten a caught stealing rate of 25%, slightly above league average. Some of his numbers defensively have dropped this year from last year when he won that Gold Glove. But all in all, I mean, you can't really fault him when he's ripping 47 homers. He set the record for most home runs by a switch hitter. Before the break, I mean, he eclipsed 40. He's one off of the catcher record of tying Salvador Perez. And I believe it's like 7 away from the switch hitter record. And I think 8 away from primary position while starting and playing the position, setting those records. I think if he can get 2 out of 3 of those, I mean, you could say Judge is doing it again, all this. The man's going to DH the rest of the year. And if the Yankees are smart, they'll keep him there. But I don't know, Booney's kind of suggested that he's going to be playing there. And, I think if he switches out and he plays in right field, you could see another injury, and then that could open the floodgates for Cal to win that award.
Yeah, and like I said, I heard you say earlier, I just think Cal is more impactful in winning for that franchise. I mean, I just think right now they're 2 games out, and we know the Yankees have more wins, but they also have more talent. So I just think when you're voting for MVP, you think about the guy you take off the team. Will the team still be where they're at? Yes, I think without Aaron Judd, I think the Yankees still would be competitive just because they're going to always have talent at the top. So I just think Cal's going to get that nudge because he's more impactful for his team winning this year defensively and offensively.
Yeah, totally agree with that. And, kind of add on to that, talking about some external factors, lineups, I would say now with the acquisitions at the trade deadline, obviously kind of recently, obviously you can say the Mariners made some big acquisitions. Their lineup looks a lot better now. To start the year, I mean, there was some guys in that lineup that I don't know should be on MLB rosters. And then also looking into it, no one's ever said T-Mobile Park was a good hitting place.
Has not.
I would say that
Never.
it was basically the worst in the league to hit in. No player has ever liked the batter's eye because it's at an obtuse angle. And I think that, Aaron Judge, as much as I, kind of start to chirp him a little bit, he is playing in almost a little version of a Little League ballpark. I mean, the right and left field there, they're not too far. I might be able to poke one out there, but I think what Cal Raleig's doing is really, really exceptional, and especially in a stadium where no one has really put up these kind of numbers since Griffey, and he might be catching Griffey here at 56 here soon.
Yeah, I think those are great points, right? I mean, it sounds like we're all in agreement with Cal here, and that's not to take away with Judge's season. We're not taking away from what he's doing, but I think the biggest point here is like what he's doing on both sides of the ball. He's having a historic season for his position. He's playing arguably the toughest position in baseball. He's catching and calling games for a great staff. And like you said, being out here in Seattle, like generally speaking, these lineups tend to struggle. Like these Seattle lineups, even they barely can crawl into the playoffs. Their leading hitter, most of the lineup is hitting like under 250, 260 under season, and not many home runs are getting hit. People do not hit a lot of home runs at this park. And like you said, with Cal, if you take him out of the lineup, the Mariners do have a really good middle of the lineup, top of the lineup this season. A lot of that's because of what Cal's doing. You got to pitch to these other guys because you got Cal coming up. You got to pitch to them. So you take Cal out of that, I bet we're talking about an entire different top of the lineup situation for the Mariners. Obviously, we're talking about an entire different like season outlook for the Mariners at this point. But like, I think those are all great points, Jared, as to why we, Cal should get the nudge here over Aaron. And I think the voter fatigue aspect, with Judge being as good as he is, we kind of see in the NBA with Giannis, right? Or LeBron, like they only get so many MVPs, and no matter how much they dominate and are clearly a better player, you're going to start seeing other guys start getting the nod, especially the ones who are hot players that season. Whoever's the big name that dominates the scene all year, like they get a little bit of like that little nudge, especially if it's for their first go of it. I mean, unless you're like Joel Embiid and stuff, but like, I think those are very good points, Jared. I mean, this is the power of bringing the fans onto the show. We get some great points like that. You drop some stats on us. I think that was a good, compelling argument. I would love to. I wish we had a Yankees fan on here to push back on you because that was pretty good. You got anything else, Jared, to close up that argument for Cal's defense here? What's the final thing you're telling the judge and the jury about why this is Cal Raleigh's MVP season?
Yeah, how I'm going to close this one out is, not only does Cal have double the stolen bases that Aaron Judge has, adding that extra aspect, but I think if this team can win the AL West, if he can get to 55 homers, 120 RBIs, which is all clearly in sight where he's projected right around that 62 mark, right where Aaron Judge was a couple years ago, and everyone thought that, he was going to be the best player ever, potentially. Like, people were talking about his seasons like they were nuts. Now that Cal Raleigh's doing it, not as big a spotlight in Seattle, I think he leads this team to a division title. He leads them to a potential bye in that first round. I don't know how he couldn't get it after the home run derby, after the big dumper has taken the league by storm already. So, I don't know. I'm a Seattle homer, but I will ride with the big dumper any day of the week. I think his impact speaks volumes, not only because he catches nearly every game, but because he leads one of the best staffs in that motion as well.
I don't know, man. I can't disagree. I can't. I'm a Brewers fan. I can't really disagree with what he's saying. I'm almost to the point where, Jared, I know this is episode 1, but I want to dish out our very first take token to Jared here for dropping just knowledge. I think that was great. Jared, I'm going to give you the first take token. It's virtual. It doesn't have any real currency, but I want to give it to you for you to come back on the show whenever you want to talk baseball, talk football. We'll give you the take token here, and we'll see you in the Patreon to talk about it. But yeah, you let us know when you need to cash that in. We want to hear more of that type of in-depth analysis because I think you could have convinced a Yankees fan from that one. And maybe I'll be wrong. Maybe we'll get blown up by Yankees fans in the comments about why this guy sucks. But I think you could have convinced some Yankees fans with that argument, and I would love to award that with some take token gratitude. Jared, thank you so much, my guy.
Jared.
Yep, appreciate you guys having me on. I'll be on here, to, talk any Seahawks football as long as you're willing. Austin, I'll leave you with this about the Seahawks. I saw it was a rough practice for Jordan Love from the 6-yard line. I can send you some info on that, but appreciate you guys having me on, and looking forward to joining some more.
Absolutely. Thanks, Jared. Yeah, we as he was saying, Packers Seahawks got in a little tussle today. They started fighting. I see Zach Tom, newly paid Green Bay Packers offensive tackle, got in there and started tossing a bit of hands. That's what I love to see out there from my big old line, my big beady boys. I want to see them getting in some fights and protecting our boys out there. So yeah, Packers Seahawks were little rambunctious, but if we all recall, Packers came rumbling into Seattle last year and laid the absolute smackdown on them. So I think it's all right. We'll have a bad practice, and we saw what the results during the real season look like, and that's just all right with me. That is going to be, I mean, Eman, how we like that? More? Do we do more of that too?
I mean, listen, I can't lie to you. That's going to be hard to follow, man. That guy really was bringing his knowledge when it comes to that argument for Cal. So, I mean, listen, if that's what we're going to get every week, I mean, this is only going to be a hit. I'm telling you right now, that is great content from a fan. Whew, I got to get my fandom up a little bit better now.
Yeah, I got to get in the stats. Jesus, I kind of felt stupid off that one. That was good. That was good. All right, that is what we're gonna do. Those are the first two fan segments. Now we're gonna get into it. This is another fan segment. It's not gonna be involved like that, but just so y'all can kind of get familiar with what this is going forward. What we're gonna do is the banter bucket. We're calling it, right? We essentially are just pulling topics out of the hat that fans are submitting and telling us. And we're just going to get into it. We're going to start riffing on it and just kind of see where the conversation goes. So today, we'll run it up. We'll leave you with 3 topics coming from the banter bucket that fans are talking about around sports that they want to hear a bit more on. Obviously, the big one right now in the NFL. Obviously, NFL season's coming up. We covered some baseball. We could get into some WNBA with a record-setting performance last night. I think who was the Indiana? Paige. I think it was the 7th highest scoring game in WNBA history.
Yep,
hell of a performance. Not even a single dildo on the court to to push the performance forward. Great game by her. We could get on more on that, but again, banter bucket is y'all fans. You tell us what you want to hear. We're going to cover it. So that's what this is going to be right now. First one being, we got a lot of talk about what's going on with the Colts right now.